Hey Sten, great to see you here on the call. How are you?
Likewise, Max. I'm doing great. How about you?
I expected to immediately see a huge boost in performance. Tell me, what did I do wrong?
These parts are sold online with that exact marketing. You're dealing with a twin cylinder Royal Enfield. That's basically one way of saying there is no real cheap option. The engine is the main thing you have to work on.
When I posted one video about performance upgrades that failed, you responded and we started the conversation. You came across as very knowledgeable in motorcycles in Royal Enfield. So, how come you are so great at this? What's your story?
Well, my dad purchased a Royal Enfield. It's called a Thunderbird. In India, it's not sold anywhere else because I believe Triumph has the name copyrighted Thunderbird. So my dad bought that bike in 2005. And his goal wasn't to ride it, but his goal was more that when I get big, I should take it to college and university. And once I came to college and university, that's when my dad gave me the keys and he was like, "You're going to live the dream now. You're going to live my dream." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And then that's how I started riding Royal Enfields in particular. And that bike, by the time I got a hold of it, was already around 16 to 17 years old. So it was quite old. And it was starting to develop a lot of little niggles here and there problems. Like the clutch would keep getting loose and cables would break. Like the accelerator wire would just suddenly break. And gears were very hard to shift through. And mind you, at this time, I have no idea about how to fix bikes, how to work on bikes, how to turn a wrench, nothing, none of that. My dad used to keep going to mechanic to mechanic. We have a lot of roadside mechanics here in India. So my dad used to keep taking it to this mechanic that this week, that mechanic that week, and problem would just never get fixed. And after a certain point, I got really pissed off. And I was like, my dad is having to struggle going from shop to shop, mechanic to mechanic. No one's able to fix it. And in India, everyone has a standard dialogue. Like if they can't fix it, the mechanics mostly uh, they'll say it in Hindi usually. "Saab ye gaadi mein kuch nahi ho sakta hai." Like this vehicle is that's just how the vehicle is. We can't do anything about it. And that dialogue really hit me hard, and that's when I started, searching online, finding user manuals, workshop manuals,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started thinking, all right, this is pretty easy stuff. How about I buy a toolkit and take a go at it? And, that's how one thing led to another, and today here I am. I know a lot about all the Royal Enfields, all the latest ones, all the old ones. I work on all my bikes. I have right now 3 Royal Enfields. I work on all of them. I work on my friends' bikes. I have a little nice new shop here, and yeah, that's where I
Nice.
am today.
All right. Well done, mate. Well done. So, what about my video? So, in the video, I talk about the upgrades I did to the bike, and I expected after I swap the exhaust with the less restrictive exhaust system, after I install the less restrictive air filter, and then fix the fuel ratio with the fuel management system, I expected to immediately see a huge boost in performance. Yeah, exactly, a rocket. But I couldn't feel anything at all. And in fact, I did some measurements. So I did a couple of speed runs, just compared before and after, uh,
Yeah,
accelerating 0 to 60, right? And what I saw was exactly the opposite. The performance of the bike decreased. So tell me, what did I do wrong, or didn't I do enough? Why it didn't work for me?
Well, Max, to be completely honest, these parts are sold online with that exact premise, with that exact marketing, right? You just install a part and, you have a rocket ship on your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's usually not how it works because there's a whole lot more to making a bike, any engine go really fast and perform to its max to a point where you can actually sit on the seat and, feel the power, so to speak. What happened here is your parts are more of what I would categorize as supporting mods,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're a supporting mod to a overall performance upgrade on your engine, any engine for that matter. So you installed a free flowing exhaust system,
Yep.
free flowing air intake, and fuel management system. These aren't what's going to make a bike go really fast instantly, but these are what are going to support your bike start going fast once you've worked on the engine. So the engine is the main thing you have to work on, which anybody has to work on to really feel a performance boost. And instead of, digging into the hole, you've gone around the hole, so to speak.
So, what do you recommend? So, if I have all these parts already on the bike, what do I need to do to make Like, how can I improve the engine? What can I do with the engine? It's maybe like a low cost improvement that could give me some gain, and then high cost that could give me like ultimate performance upgrade.
In your particular case, you're dealing with a twin cylinder Royal Enfield, the Interceptor 650. So that's basically one way of saying there is no real cheap option to get around the performance improvement, because you'll have to buy two. Like the first things first, you'll have to at least at the bare minimum upgrade the camshaft, right? To have a more performance-oriented camshaft, which allows the engine to breathe better and particularly make better use of the performance parts you've already installed, a free-flowing exhaust and a free-flowing. So cams for the Royal Enfield, you need intake and exhaust cams. Because it's quite a big engine, you know, it's not really it's gonna cost a lot, is what I'm trying to say. So that in the realm of costly parts, that is the cheapest option you can start off with to get the performance camshaft. Once you have performance camshafts, you can then probably look into, you know, getting a big bore kit is what they call it. You have SNS and you have even Hitchcock's makes their own. You can go for a big bore kit, but that is the pricier part of performance upgrades. And then once you do this, especially the big bore kit, you are going to have more horsepower being generated by the engine, which is when you're also going to have a lot of torque. And at that point, you're also going to have to look into, you know, upgrading the clutch so that it can handle all the power. So the order of improvement and where you can go from here is to get a camshaft, performance camshaft. Then if you want to chase even more performance, you'll get a big gain by changing the camshaft. But if you want even more, you go for a big bore kit, then followed by high performance clutch.
The first step is the camshaft, and then I can build on top of it. But the camshaft alone should give me a noticeable performance upgrade. That sounds great. But is it something that I can do myself, being a non-qualified mechanic?
I guess I would categorize you as an enthusiast.
Yes, you can categorize me as enthusiast with tools, yeah.
I get it. Even I was an enthusiast once. And even I was like, I have no idea how to work on bikes. Just go to the mechanic. And then one day I decided to pick up a wrench, and the rest is history. So in your particular case, I would say it's not really an involved job to change the camshafts in the grand scheme of things. If you know how to do the valve job on these bikes, it's actually pretty similar to, you have to take the top of the engine off, the rocker cover, and then you can get at the cams. But if you're not mechanically inclined at all, I would definitely ask you to take it to a qualified mechanic who can get the job done. Sure, it's going to add a little cost, but better off getting the job done properly than puzzling up the motor.
Exactly. Sounds great. Well, thanks for suggesting me the way forward, because I felt a little bit stuck. So is there anything else that you would recommend me doing with my Royal Enfield?
India is the biggest market for Royal Enfields. No doubt. And Royal Enfields in India, since time immemorial, has always been, to each their own. It is literally to each their own. One guy likes to completely mod out their bike and bling it out with brass parts and silver chrome-plated parts and all the business. While some people prefer it straight out the factory, exactly how it came from the factory. So if you were to ask me, it's a really subjective thing. And you should really go all out on exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm nobody to tell you what to do with it. I would honestly just love to see your journey on how you take a stock bike and how you go from maybe this to something else in the future.
Well, thank you very much. It was great talking to you, Sten, and you have a great day.
All right, Max. Lovely talking to you.
Bye.